Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Our show. It's always my pleasure to be with you to bring, a champion, to bring you, knowledge and inspiration into your home or wherever you are. My name is Marai Tulekima. You know me as the Greatness Engineer. And today we're going to Africa. We're going to go to Johannesburg. We're going to go to Kenya as well, and we will have I think it's going to be a very inspiring show. We're going to talk about, an organization, Action for Refugee. And Action for Refugee is, what they're doing is very inspiring. They're empowering refugee so that they can get the right skills. And I think it's focused on digital skills so that they can, not only be able to get employment, but also empower themselves and be able to find their place in this very challenging world. And we will get the opportunity to understand how this organization started and what they're really doing on the ground and how they are impacting the communities, the refugee communities where they are. So let us know if you are joining now. Let us know where you're watching from. And don't hesitate to participate, to ask questions, or just to, to give your opinion, because this show is for you. We bring, what I call the greatness engineers for you to get, inspired, for you to understand that, you can also do it, for you to understand that it is important to learn from other people, and it will help you also to get to the next level of your greatness. So don't go anywhere. We will start, and I will bring all my guests. I have four guests today, so it's going to be a great conversation. And sit tight, and as I said, let us know where you're watching from. Let's go. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone.
welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It's always my pleasure to have, new guests and especially to have, people who make a difference in their community. And before we start the show, I just want to get the opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the audience. And I'm going to start by Amina because Amina, you've been on the show, been one of my guests a few years ago, and it's always a pleasure to have you back because when you come back, you always bring so much value, and you always bring with you people who are making a difference wherever they are. So, Amina, please let us know again who you are and what we should know about you.
Thank you so very much, Mirel, for having us. Nice to see my colleague, Zain. Yes, it's always a pleasure coming on this platform. This time I'm older, wiser than the last time I was here. Yes, Amina Mothupi. I'm in South Africa now. I am here as a Director of Partnerships for AReL. And I think these other things are for another day. Today we are talking AReL, we are talking refugees, we are talking about something that is close to my heart, having ended up also in a refugee camp at some stage. I don't even think my partner knows about that, but that is to be, I'll dive into that later. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amina. And like I said, it's always a pleasure. And you have yourself an inspiring story that is really important to tell to the world so that people can also get inspired. And, this show is all about greatness so that they can also unleash their greatness and understand that, people like you have done it so they can do it. So we're going to come back and discuss a little bit more, but I will want to get the opportunity to introduce our other guests. So Zen, so if you can also introduce yourself, welcome to the show, and let us know who you are and anything that the audience should know about you.
Yes, for sure. So thank you so much, first of all, Sistren, for having me on the show. I am very honored. Amina has spoken so highly of you. And so I know I am in the midst of greatness. And so thank you so much. And hello to the audience. My name is Zen. I am the Director of Project Management at AReL. As you know, when you're trying to change the world, it can be pretty hard. It's a challenging thing to do. So it requires some project management muscle to come in and orchestrate all the things that we're trying to do and gain some traction. And we have a small PM team that's helping us do that. Outside of AReL, I have my 9 to 5, which is Benevol. We're a digital solutions agency that amplifies the impact of mission-focused organizations. The relevancy to that is that as part of that, we provide free consultation and advisory to AReL as part of that. And also in partnership with AReL, we donate technical infrastructure to all of AReL's students. So we are teaching 4 courses at the moment: front-end development, digital marketing, which includes some web design and development, cybersecurity and data analytics. And so as part of that, students that are enrolled in those courses through that partnership, we call bridging the digital divide, where we're donating this technical infrastructure to them. They get access to servers, databases, subdomain subscriptions, etc., that allow them to work in the actual environments and tools that they would be expected to work in once they head into the job market. The same environments and tools that their colleagues and counterparts would be proficient in. So we're giving them hands-on tools through that partnership to gain that proficiency. But I've been with AReL for about a couple of years now, and I watched us with our first pilot. Now we have multiple courses, multiple classrooms, and we endeavor to scale what we are doing in Kakuma Camp across the continent. And Amina is going to be certainly helping us with that. And I've had the pleasure of working with Amina in 2024. Mm-hmm. She's been so incredibly inspiring. And she's been a mother to a lot of us at the organization. And
and he's amazing.
She is truly amazing. I'm so glad that I am in her company and here with you today. Hello, everyone.
Fantastic. And we already have a full house here watching. So we have James. James is watching from Kakuma refugee camp. He's also part of your team. We have Sunday here. Hello, watching from Kakuma as well, as part of the team. We have Anne Kerili from from Nairobi as well, and James again, and Paul as well. So the whole team is here. It is a pleasure to have you. Welcome, everyone. And one question that I have, so first of all, how did you start this project? Because it's not easy. I mean, you have people who had to flee from their country in a very dramatic condition. How did you put this together to actually, create some type of structure that would actually empower them? So I don't know if Amina, you want to step in, or then just let me know, who want to step in to let us know how this whole adventure started.
I'm just going to start and then give Zen to step in as one of the founders. So I have just joined this organization. That was last year. But there's one thing that caught my attention. It's the passion behind what they do. It's the discipline that drives them. It's the dedication. And one thing I should mention to you, Mirel, none of them is on a salary. It's all on voluntary basis. So, for example, a person like Zain, he is a founder, he has a business that he's running, but for him to get time to be able to engage students on the ground, all the way from Washington, he's not on the ground, but he's able to find time to share something with them. And he plays many roles. So I am the mother, he is the godfather on the ground. He keeps things together, running. And one more thing, perhaps I can say, he plays a role of a partnership, not just as a director of our projects, but he as well has contributed towards the running of that center through the system that the students are running on, through many other things that he's come up front and sacrificed. Because Mirel, you and I know that most of the things that happen where we step in and touch lives, it's not because we have a lot. It has to do with taking one from one area and giving to the other. That's how I can describe Zain. And there's another person, another founder, Kiza. I think he had issues connecting in. Kiza is one of our founders. He started this company. He's a young man. He's a refugee himself, right at Kakuma. So from his part, he saw what the refugees were facing on the ground, the challenges that they were living. But there's one part that I remember he mentioned. He said he wanted refugees to be free, to be self-sufficient, not to just sit there and wait for the grants from the government or from the UN, but to be able to be empowered, get a skill, and go out there and do something and come back and change your life, whether it's at Kakuma, whether you are in Nairobi, wherever you will be, but a free person, you are able to give yourself the best of life. So that is part of his dream. But I'm going to also give Zain a chance to explain further how they've come this far. But from my side, it's been the discipline aspect of it, the dedication aspect of it, the sacrifices, and they keep going. And you cannot do all that without passion. I believe that there is that passion that drives them, even when they feel like they don't want to wake up in the morning. They remember, oh no, our students need us, and jump out of bed. That is my part, but let him expand on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina. It's just like you said, passion is important, especially when you don't gain anything, so that your passion actually drive you. So then, just tell us, how did it start?
Yeah, that is wonderful explanation, Amina. You know us very well, even though you've been here in 2024. We've been around a little bit longer than Amina, but you can see that the DNA is in her, of our organization, and the purpose that lives in all of us. we started initially. Let me just first, I'm going to say this. Kiza is the founder of AReL, who is a refugee himself. He has spent most of his time, most of his life as a refugee, and most of that in the Kakuma refugee camp, Kenya. And this is his idea to change realities on the ground for him and forcibly displaced individuals like him. And he had the idea to, as Amina said, to liberate refugees out of their current circumstances. And the basic idea was to build a social impact organization that was of refugees, run by refugees, and serving refugees. And he has done exactly that. And so we shortly after the launch of this idea, registration is also important, a piece of that. So we are officially a community building organization there in Kakuma Camp. And we endeavored to launch a pilot to take this concept and put legs underneath of it. And the first pilot was a digital marketing course. And we had about, I would say, hundreds of refugees throughout the camp register for that. Obviously, there's an induction process. Not everyone that signs up will be able to be enrolled. There's certain proficiencies that you do have to have in order to be enrolled in the classes. But after the selection process, we launched a small pilot of about 40 students to see if this concept could be something that we could replicate, that we could scale into additional courses, build classrooms, etc. And that pilot was extremely successful. We most of the students that enrolled graduated, stayed engaged throughout the entire semester, gained certification. At the time, it was a HubSpot certification in digital marketing. That was a largely recognized industry certification for that particular field. And we had a graduation, and the students then were able to at least position themselves for employment. That's a journey we'll get into a little bit later. But the concept proved to be viable and feasible and absolutely desirable. And so we then decided to scale, and that's where things get tough, right? Because now you have to build an organization. So we're on a journey. I think we're in the second year, full year of operations, where we certainly have grown our course offerings, grown our classrooms, grown the number of students that are participating in AReL, and now we're trying to build a team around that operation to help us have greater impact across the camp. So that's the origin story, and there's a lot of refugees right there in the camp, live in the camp, sleep in the camp, eat in the camp, work in the camp, that are part of AReL. You've mentioned some of them that are tuning in now. I can see some of them tuning in, watching now, and kudos to them. They are also the heroes. Big shout out to them. I won't even attempt to try to say all of the names because I'm scared I might miss one, but just know that there are many of them on the ground who are working hard to change realities, not just for themselves, but for their brethren and sisters in the area. And they are to be commended, applauded, and supported for what they are doing. So I am in the United States. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, and I am doing what I can as part of the diaspora, who is certainly passionate about helping African brethren and sisters abroad. And so, but there's a lot of them doing for themselves. And so we're just trying to structure that effort, make sure that we can have measurable impact. And it is a journey, and it's hard work. And so I appreciate anyone that's listening, that's willing to support us, learn about what we are doing. You are giving us a platform to talk about that, sister. And so I'm really, really grateful. And but that's a little texture for where we started and where we are right now.
So what's the challenge, when you start and when you want to expand, and who do you have to be careful, who do you bring? Because then, they were not part of the first, the passionate part of the project. So how do you, select the right people? So we're going to talk about it later. I just want to play a short video. I think it's Kiza in the video, explaining a little bit what they're doing in, in some of the camp and the support that they're giving. So for those who are joining us, we're talking today about AReL, which is Action for Refugee. And let us know where you're watching from, and if you have any question, if you have any, requests, please let us know. Put everything in the comment section, and we will be more than happy to interact with you. But for now, let's watch a short video of what AReL is doing on the ground.
Hello, I am Mandarina Georgette Kasore. I am a Congolese. I came from Congo, but now I live in Kenya as a refugee, Kakuma refugee camp. What makes me happy? I like singing and taking pictures of nature, editing them. Being a web designer is my passion and my dream. I want to be a web designer, a person that can create a beautiful website that meets the need of the client. That is my passion. The laptop that they give me and the internet, I'm going to use them designing websites, creating pictures, anything that will help me to build my dream.
Yeah, I'm already Kiza Ramadan, and I've lived as a refugee for quite 2 decades. That is about 27 years. And out of the experience living as a refugee, I've realized that living on humanitarian aid is not quite promising. We realized the era of the pandemic, it brought many of the companies into the digital space, and that initiated me to start the organization called Acton for Refugee Life, to ensure that the refugees have the skills and then try to use the digital space to ensure that they get some earnings. So we started this with the aim of providing some technology skills. Like we've started a pilot project with digital marketing, and we are planning to have some other classes starting January. That is additional classes of front-end development, data analytics, project management, UI, UX design, and product management as well. We've actually used our resources to ensure that we have the center where the student comes and do the learning. So our next plan is to ensure that the students, after they have gone through the training, so they land into the hands of into the network global professionals that will enrich their skills, and thereafter we see how we can support them in a job placement. So our aim is to facilitate the students to reach a zone where they will meet some economic needs in a dignified manner.
My name is Jeremiah Koldo. I'm South Sudanese. Currently, I'm living in Kakuma. Computer, it helped me a lot because I'm studying now in an organization in AReL, and I got a new laptop today. I'm very happy. I want to become a web designer. I want to be a freelancer.
So we are back. We are back. This is really powerful, video where we got actually the opportunity to have Kiza, even if he can't connect today, to just understand the work, the powerful work that is done on the ground. And you mentioned before then that not every single refugee can be part of the program, and I can imagine there's so many of them. How do you select the right group to be able to who is going to be part of the different program that you're offering?
Yeah, so we have there's two sides of that. First, there's just basic criteria for being classroom ready, and part of that is being able to speak English. You don't have to be completely fluent, but you have to understand the facilitation of lessons and the resource material that's going to be provided you. So reading and writing English is it's a common language there. So it's most people do speak that. So it not a huge issue or barrier. I would say for most of the population there. Most of them do speak basic English. So you have to speak English. And then some technical understanding, proficiency around using hardware and software. Again, you're going to learn quite a bit, but if it's your first time in front of a computer, then there's probably a different class that we have to get you prepared for first. And we've launched that, in fact, with a priority focus on getting women proficient with using computers and hardware. And that is a step into getting ready for regular course material. So that's one side of it. But the other side of it is that we learn quite a bit when we go out and we start to do a pilot. And we one of the challenges that we one of the things that we ran into, we discovered in that first pilot, is that the classes were disproportionately, if not overwhelmingly, male. And so we had to figure out why that was happening. And the short of it is that they're men. This is no surprise to any of you, maybe not to our audience, but men and women serve different roles in society often. And the women, especially the young women, often have familial duties to the family and around the family. I remember there was the Rena, which was the refugee that you saw in that video, the first one. I remember one time there was a moment throughout that first semester where she was not able to attend. She was not able to attend classes because her brother got sick. Her brother got sick, and she was the caretaker, right? And it's those types of scenarios that make it very challenging for women to participate in the tech space, and sometimes just regular learning. And so we are very intentional about documenting and understanding these challenges so that we can develop solutions around them. More broadly speaking, we recognize that women in the camp typically don't have access to devices. Men have access to the laptops. Men have access to the cell phones, and this also introduces a barrier. So you have to figure out ways to close those gaps so that you're creating access for everybody to participate, and that you have gender parity in your programs. And so we've come up with some solutions. We're creating a digital tech hub where students can come in, even if they don't have laptops, that they can register a laptop and use that laptop. But there are a lot of challenges and a lot of solutions that we're mapping up against those challenges, because it's not one. It is a confluence of conditions and circumstances that keep people from participating, and we have to be very mindful. And AReL is doing all that it can to kind of understand what all those challenges are. And but I feel good about the solutions that we've started to create. But that's just a glimpse into the selection process. But then once you get people in, challenges continue. Challenges don't end.
Yeah.
Once you start getting them in the classroom.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
grow actually. So, Amina, how do you come in all of this? Because I hear, again, and all she's done. I hear, because I do a lot of work, empowerment work to bring women into, STEM, science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. So I really hear you when you say that there's a big challenge to be able to bring women into your programs, and that's something that we still try to try to work on. And I just wanted to know, Amina, as a newcomer and also as a woman, where do you coming into all of this?
Yes, first and foremost, I would like to apologize for my network going on and off. Yes, so we picked up that we have issues with women, and these issues, we are tracing them back to even culture. On the side of Africa, we all know that a girl child carries the most burden. A girl child is given the most work at home, while the boy can be playing soccer outside. The girl child has to cook, has to do chores. So it's from that angle then we realized that we can't do this by ourselves, but we are involving the community by having talks to the community, to actually let them know that a girl child is as important as a boy child. If you empower a girl child, you've empowered a country, you've empowered the world, because that's the mother who will go back and share resources and uplift the entire family. So that's a narrative that we are pushing. I think the entire Africa is doing that. AReL, I know of projects that you're doing in that regard. So it's ongoing, it's work in progress, but we are doing the best we can. And also, having come on board as a coach, I actually first came to AReL as a coach, volunteering my sessions to the young people of Kakuma, and that's how I got hooked into the organization. So I have talks that I engineer towards that, certain groups. If it's women, then we have certain issues that we have to talk about to remind them that you have as much potential as your brother, as your father, as your uncle, but you can't just give up life and be home. Home is important. We can look after homes, but we must strike a balance between looking after our families, caring for them, because naturally women, we are caretakers, but as well go out there and contribute towards changing the world. So you've got to skill yourself, you have to come to class. And I think another thing that we've added on that is we are looking into transport. This is where we are coming up now with funding campaigns to see that we have at least a fund going towards transport. Kakuma as a place is not safe, not just for women, but also for our young people. So we feel that if we have a proper transport, which can bring them to our center, then that makes it easier for them to know that as I go to this class, I'm going to be safe, I'm not going to be attacked. So that's also something that we are looking into that. Yeah, thank you.
And let me just add on that too, Amina, if you don't mind, just adding to that. Really big shout out to Amina too, because Amina has been at the center of a lot of helping us understand how to build programs around these. You know, another one of those ideas that Amina and I and the rest of the team have been discussing is daycare for young women that have children. So if you have a child and you're thinking about getting education at the same time, you immediately have some challenges to figure out. And so a daycare where they can come to the center, get safe transport, as Amina said, and have their children cared for while they are taking classes, continuing their education and growth, is also one of the solutions that we're mapping. All of this takes a lot of coordination, resources, and engineering, right, to stand up and make happen. But that is certainly part of it. And but yeah, that is, I wanted to make sure that I threw that in there, because I know, Amina, you have been very helpful in those conversations.
So we're gonna take a break just to get people to digest a little bit what we've shared, and then we're gonna come back to talk a little bit about the challenge ahead and how do you what kind of help you will need from people in the audience or from any organization that we can help with so far. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. And if you're just joining us today, we're talking about Action for Refugee, AReL, an organization that is empowering refugees, in Africa. So they have they do it first in Kenya, and then the idea is to extend to the continent. So don't go anywhere. We will be back with you after this short video.
Vanakkam. This is Dr. Shrivati Kesin, founder CEO Space Kids India. Shakti Sat. Yes, the mission to the moon. We intend building a satellite and putting it in lunar orbit with an all-girls team globally. Yes, you heard it right. 10,800 children globally will be handpicked, and then Subsequently, 108 children will be building this satellite. Women leaders from across the globe, if you want to be a part of this historic mission, come join us. Be a bridge between Team Shakti Sat and your country. Join as babies because we believe world is one. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One earth, one home. Give power to the girls.
In today's global energy landscape, local content isn't just a policy, it's a strategic imperative. Local content, key enabler for energy projects in emerging markets, by engineer Dr. Mireille Tulakima, offers groundbreaking insights into how local participation can transform energy development. Discover how strategic local content approaches can. Number 1 is driving the economic growth. Number 2 is building a sustainable local capabilities. Then another one is creating a meaningful employment opportunities. And the last one is enhancing the project success and community engagement. Written by an internationally recognized energy expert, this book provides practical strategies for governments, investors, and energy professionals. Whether you're in energy policy, project management, or economic development, this book is your roadmap to understanding local content's critical role.
So we are back. We are back with the team of Action for AReL, Action for Refugee, and it's been a real enlightenment for me to see what's it's been done on the ground to empower refugees, knowing that those refugees had to flee their home, flee their family sometime, and find themselves in the middle of a country or a community that they don't know, and it is always difficult to recover from that. And having people dedicating their time and being passionate about giving them the tools, the opportunity to be able to thrive and to be able to be free and to be able to empower themselves economically is just an amazing thing to do. So I just need to know, Zen, and you mentioned it before, is that you had challenges, and those challenges are not going to stop. They're going to be actually greater. So what are the key challenges that you foresee, and what kind of help do you think that people in the audience, people in the community somewhere can help so far?
Yeah, so I think the first to frame this around what we are and what we endeavor to become, and that is an educational institution with campuses, sprawling campuses across the continent. And with that, you need infrastructure. So even at a small scale, when you talk about Kakuma refugee camp, it's very remote. There is a lack of infrastructure, no matter where you look. And so we have infrastructure challenges. We've built classrooms, and we are doing our best. We have internet connectivity and power and some laptops. But what we need is modern classroom infrastructure. We need robust internet connectivity to allow 20, 30, 40, 100, 200 students to connect online and participate in courses. The infrastructure right now and the internet connectivity out there is not very robust. You need power. You need reliable, resilient power. We often face power issues in our classrooms. And this is where students are in class and don't have access to power. When you don't have access to power, you don't have access to internet connectivity. And when you don't have access to internet connectivity, you can't facilitate learning. And then ultimately, laptops. You need laptops. So you can't become a web designer, a data analyst, a cybersecurity, front-end engineer, developer without a laptop. So we have had partners donate laptops. But we need more. We need so much more. Right now, one of the challenges that students are having to share, oftentimes when we are in training, you have students sitting in front of numerous students sitting in front of the same laptop. And that is really, really not a way to learn. And that is very unfortunate. But it is our current reality. It's where we currently have challenges, is that we don't have enough laptops. We need laptops. So whether that's donated laptops, whether that's funds to help us purchase and procure them locally, however we can get them, we need laptops. And so the confluence of those things all impact your ability to facilitate learning. And we have challenges. We've done through sheer will and determination what we can up until this point, and we are empowering and educating roughly 100 students or so. But we have far less laptops than that. And we have classrooms where we are regularly facing internet interruption. And this is obviously a disruption to the learning. So that's one side of it. So we have infrastructure needs, and people can help obviously by donating laptops or donating funds to help us with laptops. We can get more power. We can get more robust internet connectivity with more funding. We might reach a cap though in that environment, and so there are ways that we have to figure out how we can get better infrastructure ultimately. But funding helps. Funding helps that quite a bit. The second piece of that challenge is that we, as Amina mentioned, we are an all volunteer team. Predominantly, our instructors are compensated, but most of the management team, the executive leadership team is all volunteer staff. And that presents a lot of challenges for an organization that's trying to grow, an organization that has to put the might and determination into changing the world. It means that you have time constraints. As a volunteer, many of you of us have day-to-day jobs and have to find extra time outside of our day-to-day careers and our family lives to then donate our skills, competencies, and labor to a good cause, to a good organization like AReL. And we are doing that tirelessly. And with this small group, you can argue it's sustainable, but with growing challenges, it is not sustainable. And you need full-time compensated people that are also paired with passion. Passion is an indispensable ingredient for anyone that comes into AReL. And we've been able to harness that, obviously, with a dedicated, passionate volunteer team. Amina is a wonderful example of that. And we are through sheer might and determination, we are making tremendous strides. With that, the volunteer status, the last detail on that, a volunteer staff that can work 20 hours a week is likely someone, or even full-time, is likely someone who is much later on in their career. I'm going to be 50 in a couple of months. So I'm one of the oldest there in the organization. Me and Amina, the ones, but everyone else is, it is young, passion-driven professionals. And that is absolutely what you need. You need as many of those that you can have around your organization around that. And if you're talking about a volunteer force, that means that you have a challenge in getting that type of talent into your organization. These are not people that are retired, that can live comfortably and donate their time 20 hours a week, 10 hours a week. We need to be able to compensate our hardworking professionals if we are going to grow and be successful. We've done it by sheer might right now, but we are going to face significant challenges if we can't find a way to fund full-time, young, talented, dedicated professionals to help us do the hard work we are doing to change the world.
Fantastic. And I hope, people here be looking for young, talented, young professional to continue this effort. And I think it is, you don't want to let it die. you really want to, this pilot project to spread all over the world, and especially with everything that is happening right now. I mean, there are refugees everywhere. It's not just in Africa; it's everywhere. So if we can, build on this pilot and spread, the success of this project, it will be something amazing. It will create, something sustainable for the world and solve so many problems, because then you have refugees that are economically independent, and they can themselves start to replicate what they went through, and empower someone else in their community or in their family. So that's a very important things to understand. So Amina, I just wanted to know from from your perspective, as the company, the organization is growing, where do you see the needs on top of what was shared by Zen so far?
Yeah, so I pray that the network keeps me in. I'm a bit worried about. So, just to add on what Zena said, we need funding for all these things that we do. They require funding, and they require maybe even resources. Some people can come on board even to just talk to our people, like how I started, come offer my sessions. That's a game changer in itself. But funding in the sense that, for example, for us to run effective classes for cybersecurity, for data, we need laptops. You find that our students share a laptop. Can you imagine one laptop, 6 students? That slows them down. But we pray that someday every student can have their own laptop. That's one part. Sitting in class, we feel that without a meal, I think you can't concentrate that much. So we're also looking at some point maybe offering meals to our students, to our instructors who work so hard to keep the classes running. And for us, really, when we look at AReL, we don't look at AReL as a brand, as a marketing brand that we market. We see people behind a name, AReL. And when you start seeing people behind a name, it's a game changer. You start doing things, whatever small that you can do. If you feel that you have a cent you can spare, you can send it in to buy a cup of tea, maybe for an instructor. You can do so much. So it's not just a brand that we can sit here and talk about. There are real people behind this brand, and that's what makes us do what we do. But also, most important, as we talk about funding, we are not just close set on funding. We are looking at people like you, Mire, coming on board and mentors to mentor our people, because what makes us stand out at Kakuma is we have these classes. There are other CBOs who have classes. The support system that we offer our students, we don't just leave them hanging that they've graduated, now we are done. We are also looking for how do we place them. Internships, can they be in organizations where they're given a chance to prove themselves, to get the experience, because the experience, they need that to move further in their lives. But also, most important, if we have mentors to see them through, to teach them when they fall, to hold them back, coaches to come on board, psychologists, because success is many things. You can't just get the education or the skilling and that's it. There are other things that you need in place, especially like coaching, where there's a support system. You're supported mentally. Mental health issues are real these days. For a person to talk to, some people don't even have people to talk to. If they know that there is Mama Mirel somewhere to talk to, that is important. There's Mama Amina to talk to. So we are looking for a holistic kind of help that we need from the world. What is it that you can do, however small it is, it can make a difference at Kakuma. It might be nothing on your table. Maybe you have a laptop that you've not used for a year. It is big when it comes to Kakuma, because that laptop changes lives. There are 6 people who are going to sit and use that laptop. So for us, every help, however small, is appreciated, and that is our call that we are saying, let's get together, let's work together and change lives. And that's why we are here today. Thank you.
And they can go to the website too. So if you go to refugeelife.org, there's a big donate button, and you can see the specific campaigns that we are running, and Amina is collecting the money. Amina will be collecting the money.
She's the minister of finance for the project. You always have to have a minister of finance anyway, so that's
so
good.
we pray for good year.
So it's all there for those who are watching and for those who are going to watch the replay. So reach out to the team at AReL. They need your support. It's not just financial. If you have time to spend, if you have a skill to pass, if you have a laptop, or old laptop, somewhere, something that you can donate, don't hesitate to reach out and to donate to the team. You will make a difference. You will definitely make a difference in one of those refugees' life. Something that you take for granted is gold for them. So don't hesitate to reach out. So we're going to have our last break, and we'll come back just to finish the show on a particular message that you want to leave us with today. Obviously, 1 hour is not enough to talk about the project, but at least there is the awareness today, and then the message that you want us to leave the platform with, and how do you want us to and also get the contact, how people can reach out to you. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in a few minutes. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
When I left Disney, I met lots of people who are entrepreneurs and just said, look, I'm starting. What advice do you have for us? And I got some great advice. And there was a few things that were key. First of all, and as you saw in the video there, keep it simple. Be simple about what problems you solve.
But what are you hoping for? That means that there's a future. That means that there's something that you yet still need to be realized and materialized in your life. And if you have lost hope and you're not hoping for something, that means you're lost. So we need to get you back to the place of being able to hope again.
Trust the process. So many times we get stuck and paralyzed from taking the first step and taking action to get out of that transactional to the transformational of our own lives because we're afraid. But trust the process. Take that one little microscopic step. And I tell you that once you do that, that will increase into another step and another step and another step. So that's what I'd like to leave with you today.
My message for today is delay is not denial. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish in life. Do not stop until you get what it is you know God has for you.
So we are back. We are back with Amina and Zen, and today we've learned a lot about the work that they're doing through the AReL organization. Very important work for refugees, for people who almost lost hope, but here they are, here giving hope to those refugees, this young generation, this community of people that was forgotten, to giving them the opportunity to thrive, giving them the opportunity to be independent economically, giving them the opportunity to step into their greatness, because that's what it's all about. So before we leave the platform here, I just want to know, what is the message, the key message you want the audience to live with when we finish today?
Can I go first, Zane? Yes. the message is really, and not just for refugees. We are here to represent refugees, but if you look at what we do, we don't just touch refugees. We actually add to the GDP of Kenya. How do we add to the GDP of Kenya? We employ Kenyans, our instructors, our young instructors that I'm very actually proud of. They're very young people who've withstood the circumstances at Kakuma to teach our students, are all Kenyans. And we add to the unemployment in Africa. We are solving a problem in Africa, which is in every African country, unemployment, youth, walking around with no jobs. So if we can employ at least 5 people, even 2, we've added to the GDP. That's how important we are. Number 2, even if you're seated somewhere in your house right now, and we're talking a refugee, we are talking about a human being. A refugee is like you and me, there's no difference. The only difference is they're here in Kenya, they're in a camp. They don't have much freedom, and they're in this one, you have freedom. So if they can go out there and get a skill, you too, you can go and get a skill. So skilling is the way to go. Education is the most important, the most powerful tool, like Mandela said, we can use to change the world. But I leave you with this important statement that I got from Andrew Dabalen. He's a chief economist, World Bank Africa. He says, education will drive inclusive growth when every child in Africa is healthy, well-educated, and highly skilled. Education will drive inclusive growth when every child in Africa is healthy, well-educated, and highly skilled. These are matters that are close to my heart. In every room that I go to, the mentorships that I do, the schools that I go to, I have always believed that quality education should be for all. It is a human right. We shouldn't have kids somewhere being given substandard classes that don't lead them anywhere, and we lie to them that we have a school. I've always believed that if we can have quality education, it's a game changer. Let every child of us have that right to empower themselves, and it goes for all of us. I'm a 50-year-old now. I believe that every year there should be something that I do to empower myself. So 2025, here I come. I don't know what I'm gonna be, but I am here. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amina. And I keep hearing this 50 something. I don't know what I should do because for me, 50 is baby. So that's
Oh my goodness, you are younger than us. 50 is not a baby.
because I'm older than that. So that's why I'm still hearing. So for me, it's like baby.
Hashtag 50licious.
Yes. So what is your last word for us then today?
Yeah, sure. So I would say knowledge is the great equalizer. Education is the great liberator. And we are doing everything that we can do to give all of that to our refugees who really do deserve it. 3 things that I want the audience to try to do. And I'm going to start with the easiest thing that you can do. Just follow us. Do that. It's the simplest thing to do. Go on LinkedIn, wherever we are. Go onto our website. You'll see where our social presence is. It's the easiest thing that you can do because you'll get exposure just by doing that to what we are doing. And you're going to learn about things like the Internship and Action Program, where we are giving students access to real world programs, real world projects. We just wrapped up a project with Universal Right Publications. It's the first Black women-owned academic press globally. And they, our refugee students, were interns in that project and contributed to the development of that project. It's a measurement of real world impact and what African talent can actually do. You're going to get exposure to that and see what we're doing over there when you start following us. You're going to learn about the work all across the organization. Just follow. That's the simplest thing that you can do. The other thing that you can do is donate. And I don't mean donate $5 million. I don't mean donate $5,000. $20. A donation of $20 can allow for a girl, a young woman, multiple women to get to and from the camp for a month, for a full month. Just $20. It goes a long way. A long way. So if you're in the UK or if you're in the United States, your dollar goes a long way in a place like Kakuma Camp. So yes, we need We need big money, yeah, for sure, but the little money counts too, and that will enable us. The impact of that $20 goes a long, long way. So don't hesitate to come over and have a real impact. Finally, think about where you can partner with AReL, whether that's whether you have personal connections or whether you yourself have a particular competency or skill that can help us. You heard some of the challenges we have with infrastructure, power, connectivity, laptops, procurement, etc. Mentorship and coaching. If you are in the industries where we are providing education and you have expertise there, you are a practitioner, you can come in and be a mentor and help students continue their journey from learning to earning. Once we teach them, there's a journey that continues after that. And that's what makes AReL quite unique. As you heard Amina allude to earlier, we have an end-to-end support system that takes them from learning to now we are going to try to get you into job placement through our job placement program. We are going to support you throughout that process through mentoring and coaching. Make sure you have a resume and a portfolio and a CV and you know how to interview, etc. That's part of our program. After job placement, you're in a job, we have an ambassador program. So once you're in there, we want to make sure that you remain in a healthy working environment. So we support you and the employer to make sure that both needs are being met. And then after that, we have an entrepreneurship program. So we don't want to just simply export talent outside of Africa. We want to stimulate local economy and make sure that the dollar is being circulated there around through entrepreneurship. And so we have a full support system that really makes us unique, but that requires a lot of partnership to make that happen. So beyond the big money, there's a lot that you can donate in terms of your talent, your expertise, and your networks. And so please follow us. You'll learn more, be interested, be curious about helping young African men and women. And you will be surprised how much you can actually have an impact. And that's the one I think many people think, well, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to change your world. You will have an impact. Don't think that you don't. It's the biggest barrier to keep you from getting involved. And when you don't think that you can, I can promise you, Amina can tell you, anything that you can provide will absolutely help. It will go much further than you can possibly imagine. So that's the message I would leave you away with. And yeah, thank you for listening. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Very, very, inspiring, very powerful conversation. And for the audience, so you can see AReL is actually, helping refugee human beings, individual family reclaim their power, not just as survivors, but as builders of their own future. And this goes with, the learning skill. They're acquiring the learning skill. They're starting businesses. They are being, supported in that process, and they're leading initiatives, that empower communities and education. Education has become the cornerstone of this empowerment. So get involved. Reach out to the team, and you'll be surprised, by what you can do and the difference you can make in the life of those individuals who need you, who need your help. And as Amina was saying, it's not just about empowering the refugee. It's about building economies. It's about building Africa. It's about building a continent, and that's the most important things today. So I hope you have enjoyed the conversation we had today. And the most important thing, share this message, share this video, so that more people can actually know about the work that AReL is doing. And don't hesitate to get back to us, especially those who are going to watch the show later on. So that's all for today. We will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show next week. And for now, for all of you, blessings, and see you next week for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And thank you again so much to Amina and Zen for being with us today, and for really, telling us, the important, and sharing the important work that about the important work that you're doing for, the refugees on the ground, but for the continent and for the world, I would say. So thank you very much. Take care, and we'll definitely stay connected.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam.